Tough chase, Ray. Grinder all the way.
I'm sorry, Bert. What I did, I had to.
Where is she?
I don't know. Bert, please listen. I gotta have help yours. I never asked a favor before from anybody.
You don't rate.
Figured that. But if going down on my knees and begging you will mean anything...
As far as I'm concerned, not a thing.
You're very right in the world to spit in my eye. I know what the department means to you.
If you did, neither of us would be here. You know what you've done? To yourself, to me? And for what?
She's nothing you think, Bert. Never was.
And yet you let her play you for the biggest sucker who ever fell for the oldest pitch a dame could make. You, Ray Patrick, a cop, a level-headed, on-the-job, no fancy frills, straight-shooting cop. Enough to make a man vomit.
Forget him. Not making any more trouble for you. "24 hours, Bert. That's all I ask, just 24 hours. Might wipe out the smell back home at the same time. 24 hours.
Couldn't give you 1 hour. I'm not compounding any felony. Do you know what I've had to put up with? I don't think I'll ever get clean again. The mayor, the chief, the newspapers, even the governor.
I'm sorry, Bert. I couldn't help it.
You were one of my men, best of them. That's why I took this assignment personally. We're going back together, or I'm not going back either.
They've no right blaming you for what I did.
Were you crazy?
You tell me.
What made you do it?
That day, you assigned me to the Frank Dean case.
At the outset, it didn't sound like anything special. The usual routine assignment tossed in my lap just as I was ready to call it a day. Homicide's got a lot in common with the fire department that way. The alarm starts ringing and we're off whether we want to or not. Day or night, rain or shine.
What's the deal, Doc?
Not pretty. Face first, right in the fire. When it happened, it was burning.
Fire kill him?
Helped considerable. There's a fracture at the base of the skull. The usual blunt instrument. Probably that.
Ted?
Yeah?
That figurine.
It's cool.
Take off anything?
Some beauties. Whoever used it got a pretty tight grip. Almost etched those prints in.
His?
He hasn't got any.
See the position of the hands? Fire did a good job on them. Charred to the wrists. No skin left to take fingerprints.
Who found the body?
I did. Now, who would want to kill a nice gentleman like Mr. Dean?
Here to find out, lady.
Name's Sparrow.
Oh, tell me, Mrs. Sparrow.
Spinster.
Excuse me. How'd you happen to find the body?
Smell smoke, something awful, like meat scorching. That's exactly what it was, like meat scorching. Did you ever see a man lying with his face in the fire like that? I never did.
How'd you get into the apartment?
Door wasn't locked.
What sort of a man was this Dean?
Nobody knew anything about him. He only used this apartment about once a month for a couple of days.
Friends ever visit him?
Only one I ever saw. Young woman. Wore tight clothes. Indecent the way it showed her shape. It's a wonder it wasn't her that got killed. More the type, working in a nightclub and all.
Nightclub which?
Place called the Spotlight. I heard him talk about it one time. Thin walls.
This girl, what was she like?
Wore tight clothes. Name was Eden. At least that's what I heard Mr. Dean call her. Silly name for a girl. Reminds you of Original Sin. Garden of Eden, I mean.
Works at the Spotlight, huh?
Over on Risdale Street.
See you fellas later. Thank you.
9:45 p.m. Checked with headquarters and reported that things were shaping up fine, and I was stringing along on the lead the little old lady had given me on the girlfriend of the dead man in the fireplace. I was told to go ahead and lost no time getting down to the Spotlight. It really wasn't a nightclub in the proper sense, mostly a bar. The usual types hanging around. I went over to the bartender and asked him if he had a girl working there named Eden. He said,
Eden Lane. She won't be in until around 10. She's a singer.
Working for you alone.
So and so.
It's Frank Dean. You know him?
What's the pitch? You a cop or something?
Yeah, cop.
Look, I run a straight place. No monkey business either side of the bar. And don't figure those girls there as house shills either. One's a picture snatcher, the redhead, and the
Okay,
other...
park the jitters. I'm not on the vice squad.
Oh, sanitary inspector, huh?
Homicide.
Eden?
I'll bat out the questions. You just field them. This Eden Lane. You know her well?
Just from coming around here. That dame there, the picture snatcher, Patsy Flint. Eden's her roommate.
Might as well have a drink as we talk. Name it.
Thanks for nothing. I don't come with the bar.
Thought it'd make the talk easier if you had one with me.
Talk? Talk about what?
Eden Lane.
2 beers, Louis. You must be kidding if you've got something cooking on Eden. Why, that girl's a honey.
Bartender says you 2 room together.
That's right.
When'd you see her last?
Oh, tonight before I came to work.
Don't come on the job together?
No, you see, she comes in around 10 o'clock. That's her show. Anyway, she had a date tonight.
Who with?
Oh, some guy's got a crush on her.
Phone, Pat.
Excuse me. Hello? Thanks for the beer. Gotta get back on the job now.
Have another.
Fattening.
Sit down, watch me finish mine.
Look, I've really got to get back on the job. You see, I
don't want to embarrass you, sister. Sit down. This man Eden had a date with tonight, you know him?
Uh-uh.
You'd never talk much about him?
Uh-uh.
You ever seen him?
Uh-uh.
What'd you learn on that phone, a new word?
Look, I don't have to sit here and be insulted.
Don't be so sensitive. Doesn't look good on you. Thanks for the company. Now we take a little ride.
Who do you think you are?
Showed you before.
Look, I don't have to go down to the station house with you because I haven't done anything. Anyway, if this is an arrest, where's your warrant?
Just ask you to take a little ride with me.
By the time we got to the apartment, I had no illusions about Patsy Flint. A hard little package with a cunning brain sharpened by constant grinding against the world.
Pretty free with my apartment, aren't you?
Have to buy a ticket? Your accomplishments?
Could be. I've got a few.
Don't doubt it.
going to clean up this mess?
Both of us, I hope. Each in his own way. Your handwriting?
Could be.
Let's make sure. Write the same words.
I don't feel like it.
Number of Greyhound bus depot, please. Thanks. Information. 7:50 bus this evening, heading where? Okay, thanks a lot. Eden Lane?
Mm-hmm.
Recent photo?
Took it myself 6 weeks ago.
Patrick. What female suspect named Eden Lane taken off northbound Greyhound bus? Departed 7:50. Bound San Francisco. Blonde, 5'4", very attractive, shapely, blue eyes. Carrying a single suitcase, light airplane type. Yep, send out right away.
What's Eden done? What's all this prying and snooping about?
Could be murder.
Murder? Frank Dean.
Who said Dean was the victim?
Why, you. You were the one that was talking about him all evening.
Jumped to a quick conclusion, didn't you? Why?
Look, I've answered all the questions I'm going to answer.
Figure that. That's the reason I'm not going to ask you anymore. Good night.
Putting this sordid bit of foul play to rights was going to be a walk and wasn't going to put any kinks in my record. 9 convictions in the past year out of 11 suspects I'd brought in. I took a lot of pride in my work, and I knew I was in line for a top spot. The upstate police had worked fast. There was a report on the suspect Eden Lane coming off the teletype as I came into the room.
All right, let's have it. Just came in on the Dean suspect.
Got off near Merced.
Checked at the bus station coming over. Ticket man remembered her. Bought a through ticket to San Francisco.
Jumped the bus, panicky?
Why not?
Suspect as hot as you think?
Looks good.
What are you gonna do?
Bring her back.
That sure you can find her?
Just take a little digging. Merced, where could she hang out around there? Short on dough and a face that'd stand out in heaven. Lead pipe cinch.
Okay, all yours. Run it down, wrap it up, mark it paid, and take the bows.
Thanks.
Keep in touch.
Good night.
I was on my way at the crack of dawn. I figured it'd take about 5.5 hours to get up north, which it did almost exactly. Hitting at even 60 miles per, I entered the city limits of Merced at lunchtime and tried the gas station nearest the bus depot for a lead on Eden Lane.
Yep, night before last. Darn pretty gal. She got off the San Francisco bus.
Any idea where she went?
Yep, mountains.
How do you know?
Well, she asked about hiring a car and a driver. I rented her mine. George drove her. That's my son.
Drove her where?
Cresthaven Village. But you can't get beyond there in a car. Too much snow.
What's the country like?
Pretty wild.
Any houses?
Mighty few.
People living in them?
Sometimes on a weekend, but none right now.
You know who owns them?
Well, they keep a list of the property owners at Cresthaven Tavern.
Okay, thanks.
Sign right there, please.
weather was fierce and getting worse by the minute. But 8 years with homicide taught me that little things like blizzards must be taken in stride as occupational hazards, while keeping one's sight on the main objective. The record had shown Frank Dean was the owner of a cabin 4 miles up from the village, right on the ridge. 4 miles on foot. At the 5,000-foot level, what there was of a trail petered out. At 6,000, I was having a terrible time struggling through the drifts. At 7,000, I had only another few hundred yards to the ridge. It was anybody's guess if I'd make it. But I was on the trail of a killer. I hate the wanton destruction of human life. I'd seen too much killing in the Pacific. A killer, man or woman, no matter which, is the enemy and deserves no mercy. Was the Lane woman still in the cabin, or had she flown the coop before I got here?
You're reading Lane. Name's Ray Patrick.
You want me to come with you now?
No rush. Why'd you do it? Don't have to tell me, of course. Come out in a wash. Sure can't tell a book by its covers.
All sweetness, huh?
Most dangerous type at that.
Don't suppose there's a phone here?
No.
Can wait till we get down to the general store at Cresthaven.
Drop it.
I was just going to fix the fire.
Drop it. Pay attention, lady. Whether the taxpayers get stuck for the cost of your trial's not my business. I've just about finished mine right now. Try pulling a fast one, and maybe those poor taxpayers will have something to thank me for. Plain?
I can't help what you think.
Try. Because if I happen to think wrong...
Please, don't threaten me. I don't intend doing anything. I don't want to do anything. I'm ready to leave with you right now. It was stupid of me to run away like I did.
Want to improve things to try a repeat? Make them a lot worse, in fact. Excuse me.
May I rest while you're drying your feet? I haven't had much sleep.
Go ahead. Park it there.
Power lines must be down. I'll light the candles.
Cigarette?
Thanks.
Highball?
No, thanks. I only drink when I'm happy. Does that sound funny to you?
Heard funnier. Don't laugh easy. Occupational defects. See too much to cry about, I guess.
Got any tears for me?
You got any coming?
You know everything. Probably more than I do, finding me that quickly.
A few minor points need clearing up. Why, for instance, and how?
Talking about it only means reliving it.
Self-defense, he came at you. You were forced to, that right?
Maybe you don't know as much as I thought.
Willing to learn.
Maybe this was a new angle. There was no struggle.
Wasn't self-defense?
No.
Skip the details, then. Must tell you anything you say can be held against you.
You asked to hear it.
Told you, skip it. I don't like the idea of helping people put themselves behind the 8 ball. Even if it's to their own taste. What are you aiming to be, a martyr?
I can't start down the mountain tonight.
Time enough in the morning.
It's getting late.
Tired.
The only way I can wake up from this nightmare is to go to sleep.
Better turn in then. Due for an early start. Good night. Can't sleep?
Who was it that found him? Was it Mike?
Mike?
Frank Dean's bodyguard and chauffeur.
Never knew Dean had one. The little old lady in the next apartment smelled smoke.
Hope I didn't hurt him too much. He's a strong man, and I couldn't have hurt him too badly.
Frank Dean? He's dead.
Dead?
I'm here to bring you back. To answer for his murder. What is this, news to you?
You're saying that I killed him?
What did you think?
Yes. Could be. Figurine was heavy, and I struck him hard.
Should be no surprise then. Should it? We got out that morning. Some linemen came up to repair the fallen wires. They helped us down the mountainside to Crest Haven. And all along on the way back, Eden Lane was gentle, resigned, cooperative. There was a loose end to this Dean case that nagged at me.
That's the way I like to package these cases. Quick arrest, fast trial, clean verdict, and close the books.
The way the district attorney hammered at her, and the quiet way she sat there taking it.
She had it coming. She killed a middle-aged admirer because he wanted to shake loose. That story of hers about running out of the apartment after tapping him on the head and not knowing he was dead and fell in the fireplace.
They were trying that cheap background she worked in. Her crummy friends, her way of life.
She had a good lawyer.
Public defender.
She got a fair trial.
This Frank Dean, I never believed a man could live in a city and nobody know anything about him. And that bodyguard of his, Mike, the fellow who chauffeured him around, he could have thrown some light on the case.
You ever consider maybe that there was no Mike? No chauffeur? Ever consider that? Maybe just an attempt on the part of that girl to throw a red herring of doubt and confusion.
Homicide, Patrick. Oh, yeah, Doris.
Raleigh here. Oh, I put him on. Yes. Yes, I'll tell him. Thanks, very grateful. Upstairs. Says he's very proud of the way you handled the case. Wants me to give you a commendation.
Thanks.
Got a lot of publicity for the department. Might as well milk it. They're moving the lane woman upstate tomorrow. I'm assigning you to accompany the matron. Well, I'm going out to get something to eat.
I don't know what it is about trains, but the minute I set foot on one, I get hungry. All right with you, Ray?
Go ahead.
Bring you back something from the diner?
Not right now.
You, honey.
No, thank you.
Back soon.
Don't give up.
He could have fallen in the fire when I struck him. I could be responsible.
That missing chauffeur of his. You never saw him.
No. When we went out together, Frank drove.
Linderville. 3-minute stop.
No.
What's wrong? Eden, what is it?
I saw Frank Dean.
What are you talking about?
I saw Frank Dean. That man on the platform underneath the light. That was Frank Dean. I saw him. He was there.
Eden,
I did. I saw him. It was.
get hold of yourself.
You don't believe me.
Imagination fools people. Eyes play tricks. You know it must have been something like that.
No. I saw him. I swear it. Didn't you see that man on the platform?
No, I wasn't looking out the window.
That was him. I saw him. Oh, can you believe me? I know I'm upset, but I'm not insane. That was him. He was there.
Easy, easy.
I'll remember that train ride as long as I live. Not because I was taking a prisoner to her deserts. I've done that before. But because for the first time, I began to doubt. And when a man begins to doubt what he represents as right, must be right, he's coming apart at the seams.
This Frank Dean. What did he look like?
You heard at the trial.
There never was a picture of him. I heard a composite description by several people. You tell me now.
He was a strong man, carried himself well, gray hair, had money, could talk to head waiters and they'd listen to him, that type. Oh, Ray, that was Frank Dean at the station. What can I do to make you believe in me? What can I say? What can I do? They'll put me in jail for something I didn't do. My life, it's at your mercy. Even though what I saw sounds impossible, unbelievable, will you let this happen to me? Will you let them do this to me? I ask you, I beg you, believe me, it was Frank Dean. He's alive. I beg you, Ray, believe me.
Well, now I feel better. You poor boy. You must be famished, Ray. And you, honey, you've got to eat something. They'll be closing the diner soon.
Eden's hungry now. Would you go back to the diner and get some coffee and sandwiches, Mrs. Thomas? I'm sorry, I should have asked you before.
No trouble. Glad you found your appetite, my dear.
But
She's starved.
Be right back.
I'm not the least hungry. Even the thought of food upsets me.
Wanted to get her out of here. Had to. Put on your coat.
My coat.
We're getting off the train.
Ray.
I've got to know if that was Frank Dean you saw. I couldn't live with the thought that maybe we were wrong, that everybody was wrong, that you're heading for a payoff not coming to you. To live with that thought for the rest of my life.
It was Frank Dean. It was Frank Dean.
That matron won't be gone longer than 10 minutes. That bell. It's a crossing along on Highway 24. Get into your coat. The train's doing about 65 miles an hour right now. At the Paso River Culvert Bridge, we'll slow down to 10 miles an hour for 3 minutes. If we time it right, we can jump.
Jump?
It's the only chance there is. You afraid?
Only to stay on the train.
Take that bag. Slowing down.
jump.
Jump!
You all right?
Yes.
You cold?
Just nerves.
I'm giving us 1 week. It's a long chance. And I'm giving it to myself more than you. For my own sake, I must try to solve this mystery of Frank Dean. Now, I haven't finished. When this week's out and it ends in nothing, you've got a date in prison. And I'm going to see you keep it. If you've got any other ideas, get rid of them. Because if anything stops me from delivering you there, I'll treat you as an escaping prisoner. And that'll be that. Now, let's go. We registered in this collection of dog kennels as Mr. and Mrs. Caldwell. I told the old man who runs the place that our car was being fixed in town. I asked him if he'd rent me his. He said,
Sure, anytime. I sell groceries and things, too. All these cabins got electric plates.
be over for some as soon as I get cleaned up.
Fine. Here's your key.
I'm going into town. If that old guy next door wants to come in and clean up, don't let him. Tell him you did it yourself. Don't get any ideas about taking a walk. It's too dangerous.
Don't worry, I won't.
I was cruising down Main Street of Linderville when I saw her. I parked the car, got out, and followed Patsy Flint.
Yes, sir.
I was supposed to meet a friend here. I'm a little late. I wonder if you've seen her. About 5'4", red hair, quite attractive.
You must mean room 204, Miss Smith. She just went out.
Well, that's too bad. I'll try later. Thanks.
You're welcome.
blessed word. About the loss of that girl's money. She hasn't gone to the police.
Maybe she hasn't found out that it's gone.
Not likely. But she checks that money 6 times a day. Must have a smell to it. She mustn't want it known she's in town. Why? What's she doing here?
I told you, Lindaville is her hometown. There's nothing unusual about her visiting.
But the timing, I don't like it any way you answer it. And that goes for this load she was hauling, too. Where'd she take it aboard?
I wish I could tell you.
Ever known her to flash this kind of money before?
$100 in the bank is all I've known her to have.
No use losing sleep.
Good night.
I was getting desperate. Every day I put behind us, drawing nothing but blanks, was a day thrown into the ash can and hauled to the city dump. We'd never get it back.
Receipt. Hope your wife is feeling better this morning.
She'll be all right.
How long do you expect to stay?
Garage says it'll take a few more days to fix our car. All right if I keep using yours?
Sure. I don't get to town very often. Too much to keep me here.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Cute number.
The figurine? Biggest industry out here, them ceramics.
Made here in Lindaville?
Right at the north edge of town. Very interesting place. You ought to take a look at it. Lots of tourists do.
Thanks, I will. So long.
So long.
Anything I can do for you, sir?
Just passing by. The sign outside said visitors welcome.
Yes, we're always happy to show folks around. Step in. My name is Dunlap. I'm the foreman here.
Could I buy one of these figurines?
Well, ours is a wholesale business, but I guess it's okay. I'll wrap it up for you.
Thanks.
There we are. I'll give you the wholesale price on that at $7. Oh, hello, Mrs. Abbott.
It's nice to see you, Dunlap.
Shall I tell Mr. Abbott you're here?
Oh, no, don't disturb him. I know he must be busy. I heard the plant turned out a new design and just stopped by to look at it.
Yes, Mr. Abbott brought it back from the city. It's still in the baking ovens. Oh, excuse me. This is Mrs. Abbott. Her husband owns this plant, Mr.
Caldwell. How are you?
Glad to know you, Mr. Caldwell.
Goodbye.
A nice woman. Comes from the oldest family in town. High society.
Well, thanks for everything.
Don't mention it.
That group photo on the wall. I had to get my hands on it. I had to figure a way to stick around until they'd close up shop for the night and everybody went home. I had all the taste of solitary confinement I ever want in the hours I spent in that closet. Finally, the coast was clear.
have been the night watchman. Strength of a bull. I couldn't run the risk of fighting it out. And got in a lucky punch and ran. Well, here. Study these faces. Tell me if any of them looks like or resembles Frank Dean. Well?
None of these men is Frank Dean.
Cockeyed idea I had. About as bright as the others I've come up with.
Ray, I don't want you to feel that I expect... Don't let it get you down. We both know it was a terribly long chance, and if it doesn't come off, then it's no more than we really thought.
There must be somebody somewhere.
I wish I had the words to tell you how I really feel. For all you know, I'm as guilty as they said. But you believed in me. And I'm grateful.
Every side a blank wall. Only one lead, Patsy Flint. And what she means to it.
Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah, if you believe in it. You don't owe me anything.
Aren't we kidding ourselves, hoping for a miracle? Suppose I was wrong. Suppose that man at the railroad station wasn't Frank Dean. You said imagination can trick people. Suppose I made a mistake.
You saw him. I believe it. You can't start doubting yourself now. You've got to believe. It's the only thing we have to hang on to. You saw him. It's got to be. It's got to.
It's almost done.
Yeah. Another day.
I don't feel unhappy. I don't think I'll ever feel unhappy again, no matter what happens. Does that sound foolish to you?
Did. About what I said that night in the culvert. That if I didn't find anything this week before it passed, what I said about delivering you to prison. I've got $5,000. We'll go to San Francisco. We can make it. Ships are going to all parts of the world.
Two more days left. Let's use them. We're only tired of talking like this.
2 days. The way it shapes up, I'll need 2 years. How long can we hope to duck the police? And that Flint girl. She's dynamite for us.
Are there any words in the language for a roughneck like me, without making a maudlin fool of himself, to tell the woman he loves how much he loves her? At least to tell her that he'd lay down his life if it'd help her. Try saying any of it and she'd think you flipped your lid and be really scared.
I can't afford to overlook a thing. Can't afford shooting the works on a wrong hunch. I've got to keep grabbing for the brakes.
Ray.
Hmm?
Take care.
Promise.
You go along for years priding yourself on being a smart cop, an asset to the police department, a guy who knows all the answers and methods. What a joke. On your own, and without the precision teamwork of thousands of men on the force to fall back on at every step. You aren't such a mastermind, are you now? Better go home and tell that girl of yours, who trusts you, that you're up a tree, same as any other lawbreaker the police are hunting. That you'll never find Frank Dean for her. That you'll both land in disgrace and in prison for your stupid conceit. Even though she's innocent.
Eden?
Evening.
You seen my wife?
Ain't she in your cabin?
Did you see her leave?
I've been here the past few hours going over my books. There ain't the money in the motel business some folks think there is.
You haven't seen her?
Oh, maybe she went for a walk. Gets boring being inside so long. Want to use my telephone?
No, thanks. What now? Now I knew I was licked. Now I knew I'd better give up and not even try to think. And then you came. Bert, how did you find me?
Been casing every motel within a 20-mile radius of the Paso River crossing. Figured a dope or a real smart cookie would be hiding out close to where he jumped from the train.
So it happened I had to stick close to Linderville. Wasn't just trying to be smart.
I've got to take you back, Ray.
I guess you do.
Word of honor, you won't try anything?
Word of honor. Still means something to you?
Could be. Okay?
Yeah.
What about something to eat?
I'll fix it.
Sure you won't eat?
Not hungry. Bert.
Hmm?
Tell me something.
What?
In my place, what would you have done?
That girl?
No, not her. The way I tried working this case here, the things I did, the angles I followed. Were they what you'd have done?
Just about.
Then the two of us should be twice as good.
I've got to take you back, Ray.
24 hours, Bert. Just 24 hours. Would it make that much difference? I don't ask it in the name of friendship. You've done me too many favors in the years we've known each other, and I've repaid you in a lousy way. I don't even ask it for Eden Lane. I ask it for Frank Dean. Let's put that ghost to rest one way or another and tie up this case clear. You've never been a sloppy worker.
You've got your 24 hours and you've got my help. After that, I take you in.
A deal? What now?
Patsy Flint. She's #1 on our list.
That's something new.
Must be getting religion.
It's Sunday morning. Let's go to church.
Used to care. She knows you.
Age 32.
Age 32.
Get anything out of it?
Only the conviction I should attend church more regularly.
Want to talk to Patsy?
Let's get some lunch. Give her time to get back to her room.
This is it.
Exit Patsy Flint. And only about an hour ago, too. Afraid to ask who gave her the cue?
It wasn't Eden.
Maybe there was more between these two girls than you caught on to. Eden ran out on you, didn't she?
You don't know her, Bert. She's no murderess. A book from the church. She must have walked off with it.
Well, there's nothing we can do here now. I'll tip off the local authorities about it. They know I'm here. In the meantime...
What are you going to do?
Let's go.
Where?
To pay a social visit to the Abbotts.
What's Abbott doing at the factory on a Sunday morning?
Butler said he was going over some accounts, and his wife is going to pick him up after church. I'd like to talk to her also.
Well, who are you? What are you doing here? Police?
That's right.
Well, what may I do for you?
You can tell me why you beat up my friend here the other night.
I beg your pardon.
I should beg his. He took the punishment.
I don't understand.
You should, since you left your signature on his face.
Well, the man was a trespasser.
You usually hang around the plant at night?
Sometimes.
Why?
Oh, various reasons.
Could one of them have been to meet Patsy Flint?
Who?
The girl who was blackmailing you.
What fantastic?
Nothing fantastic about the $5,000 you gave her. Real solid.
Of all the incredible...
Patsy Flint told you that she'd been robbed. And she wanted a replacement. Still in their diapers. My friend checked at the bank. The only sum of that amount drawn out in the last few days was by you.
Well, I run a large business. I have substantial cash expenditures. I mean...
Yeah? What do you mean?
Well, I refuse to discuss such a preposterous idea.
Then let's discuss the appointment Patsy Flint had with you early this morning. She couldn't keep because you killed her in her hotel room.
Are you insane? I was nowhere near the Tower Hotel this morning.
I beg your pardon. The Tower Hotel. Yes. That's where she was staying.
Now, just hold on. Don't regard this statement as self-incriminatory. Most everybody that comes to town stops at the Tower Hotel. It's the only one here.
Then where were you this morning?
My chauffeur dropped me off here and then took my wife on to church. I had some important work to do. I expect them shortly to pick me up. And I will not be badgered by these offensive and criminal inferences.
Well, then talk straight or you'll be badgered a whole lot more.
Your chauffeur Japanese?
Yes, Sam's been with me for years.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were busy, dear.
We're just leaving.
Mrs. Abbott, these gentlemen are police officers. Some woman has been killed at the Tower Hotel.
Well, what could that possibly have to do with us?
A girl named Patsy Flint.
Really? But why?
A routine check.
We've met before.
A few days ago, right here.
Oh, yes.
Well, good afternoon.
all these years. My family, the most respected and oldest in town. You dragging our good name through the filth.
Oh, I swear, Beatrice, I had nothing to do with that girl that we're talking about. And it's for this preposterous libel that I killed her. Well, how can you ever think there's any truth in
There's no
such...
need to defend yourself. I know you didn't kill that girl.
Well, then what? Why? Why all these uncalled for insults?
For the dirt you've strewn over our family name. For what you've done to me.
Oh, you're overwrought, my dear. You'd never speak to me in this manner. Come home.
What's the play?
I heard them talking. She was whipping out a terrific lacing.
Tip off anything?
Just a feeling.
Abbott's alibi stands up. He had no time to finish Patsy in the hotel and get back there without a car.
Could have used a taxi.
He wouldn't risk having the driver finger him.
Abbott could be Frank Dean, but that Japanese chauffeur couldn't be Mike.
In your investigation in the city, never a whisper about Dean running around with an Oriental?
Never a whisper about him running around with anybody, except Eden Lane.
The chauffeur's clear. Abbott wouldn't take him away from home. He'd stand out like a sore thumb. And he wouldn't risk having the man drop a word in front of Mrs. Abbott about Eden Lane. No, it's too dangerous all the way around.
Eden. She couldn't have done it. Yeah?
It's Buckley. You got a Mr. Rawley in there?
Yeah, what is it?
Telephone call for him.
Okay.
They got Eden. She surrendered to the warden early this morning.
And she? Patsy. Eden couldn't have done it. She couldn't.
No, she couldn't.
She thought I'd fail, so she gave herself up.
That's about it.
Bert, I gotta do something to help her.
24 hours up pretty soon.
The answer's in this somewhere. And Abbott must know it.
Abbott didn't kill Patsy Flint.
But he must be Frank Dean.
All right. So he's Frank Dean. Patsy Flint knew what he looked like, and she's dead. Eden knew what he looked like. She's in the pen.
There must be somebody knows him. Miss Sparrow.
The old lady who lived in the apartment next to him?
She saw him a couple of times.
Yeah, but she's there, and Abbott's here. Think we can depend on her?
She was excited about the trip. Told me on the phone she'd take the next train.
Hey, look there. Didn't know you were leaving town.
Mrs. Abbott's been planning this trip for some time.
Pleasant journey.
Very kind of you.
They must be taking the same train that's bringing the old lady.
to know it's Frank Dean. Did you see him? Was it Frank Dean?
Oh, wait till I catch my breath.
Was it Frank Dean? Was it Frank Dean?
I think I sprained my ankle.
Dean, tell me, was it he? Was it Frank Dean?
Itching, I thought.
Tell me, was that man Frank Dean?
Of course it was. I'd recognize him anyway.
Hey, you. Get aboard. You stop.
That policeman recognized you. Come on.
The woman who occupied the apartment next to yours identified you.
Why did you frame Eden Lane?
I was forced to it. She was blackmailing me.
That's a lie.
Now take it easy. Let him talk.
I met her on a buying trip to the city. Stopped in for a drink at the place where she worked.
You gave her the phony name of Frank Dean.
Well, I come from a small town. The people there, well, they don't look tolerantly on this sort of a situation. It flattered me to be seen with such a beautiful young woman. Then I received a letter, unsigned. It demanded $2,000 with a threat that if I didn't pay it, my wife would be told. I was panic-stricken. I accused Eden of trying to blackmail me. She pretended innocence. Then I said some horrible things, and she struck me with a statue. When I recovered consciousness, she was gone.
Who was this fellow Mike who chauffeured you around the city?
Oh, I was so infatuated with her that I gave this fellow a job of keeping tabs on her while I was away.
And after Eden left your apartment, Mike came.
Yeah, he came. Said he knew my right name and hinted not too subtly that he'd keep his mouth shut for a price.
And it was his body they found lying in the fireplace in your apartment and identified as yours. You killed him.
Afterwards, when they accused and convicted Eden Lane for the crime, I felt secure until I got a telephone call from Patsy Flint. She told me that Mike had been her boyfriend, and the price for her silence had now gone up. $5,000. I gave it to her. I was the Flint girl's mercy. You were right. That night I fought with you in the factory. I was there to meet her. She said she'd been robbed and demanded another equal sum. I told her I'd have it for her in a couple of days. She was killed before we met again.
You recognize this handwriting? It was found in the Flint girl's room.
Well, that girl was working both sides of the street, blackmailing my wife as well as me. Then Patsy Flint, the one who killed her, was Beatrice.
They've agreed not to prosecute you, willing to consider it a temporary blackout. You know what this means?
All washed up as a police officer.
Couldn't be anything else. What'll you do now?
Thought of going into the private investigation line.
Run into any problems, I'm your friend. Raleigh. Oh, yes, sure. Send in right away. Just about time to make it before it closes for the day.
Make what?
The Marriage License Bureau. Took a little influence to expedite matters, but the warden's a great guy with an understanding heart.
Thank you, Captain.
Captain? Lady, you got me all wrong. You mean best man.